Hello friends and welcome back to edupediaworld.com. I suppose that now you understand the concept of what is macroeconomics and what is the nature, the importance of macroeconomics, which we have done in the last session. We begin our study of macroeconomics by understanding and having a look at how an economy works. An economy is basically a system of interrelated economic activities and economic transactions. And these economic activities and economic transactions generate products or goods flow and money flow. So it generates two types of flow in the economy, that is product or goods flow and the money flow. So see, the product flow consists of factor and product flows. That is flow of factor, which we say that flow of input into an industrial unit, and then flow of output out of an industrial unit, that is the goods flow. If we consider about the monetized economy, there we also consider the value and importance of money. So in a monetized economy, factor and product flows generate money flows in the form of factor payments and payment for goods and services. The two kinds of flow go in opposite direction in a circular manner and make two kinds of circular flows. So coming to the meaning of circular flow, it refers to flow of income or flow of goods and services across different sectors of an economy in a circular form. See, what we are considering is a dual effect of every transaction happening in an economy. Like if you are giving something, you are getting something. If you are paying for goods and services, you are getting the goods and services. So this basically creates a circular flow, and there is a opposite relationship between the money income which is flowing and the goods and services which are coming. So this creates basically a circular flow, and this is what we are going to study in this particular session. This will actually help us to understand that what happens in an economy. To proceed further, we start with the various models of circular flow, and we start with a very simple model of circular flow where we consider only two divisions in the economy, that is households and firms. That is, we are considering that transaction is happening between only two divisions in the economy, that is household and firms. And let's see that what are the assumptions between them. We consider that the households are the owners of all the factors of production. Let's revise upon the factors of production. We classify the whole factors of production into four categories, that is land, labor, capital and entrepreneur, and we say that households own all these four factors of production. Then they are consumers of all final goods and services. That is, the households provide the factors of production and they consume the goods and services, which is the final output from any business unit. Then their income consists of wages, rent, interest and profit. If we bifurcate between all the factors of production, we see that wages are paid to the labor, rent is paid to the land, interest is paid to the capital and profits are paid to the entrepreneur. So these are the various income flow to the household. Now coming to the firms, they hire factors of production from the households. So see, you can see this effect that households are providing factors of production and firms are getting the factors of production. Then they produce, that is the firms produce and sell their final goods and services, and to whom they are selling? They are selling to the households. So, and we also assume that the firms do not save. So here we can see a dual effect. See, the households are providing input to the firms and the firms are providing output to the households. The households are paying for the output to the firm and the firms are paying for the inputs provided by the household. So this is what which creates the circular flow in a simple model. Let's see how we can show this circular flow. See, you can see that each and every thing here is interrelated to each other in some or the other way. Now see, we have firms, that is businesses, and we have households. The green line which you can see here, this line, shows the flow of money. This is money flow. And this blue and brown line which you see here shows the flow of goods and services. Now, we can see that there is factor market and there is product market. In the factor market, the household sell, that is, they are providing inputs to the firms and firms are buying those inputs. In the product market, the firms are selling output to the households and households are buying those output, that is the goods and services. Now, we come to the flow of goods and services, that is this blue and brown line. We come to the flow of goods and services. We can see here that the flow of goods and services is also known as real flow. What is happening? The factor market is providing factors of production to the business. Then through these factors of production, the business is making the output and those goods and services is provided to the product market. Then this product market provides these goods and services, that is output, to the households, and the households who in turn are providing again the factors of production, that is land, labor, capital, entrepreneurial ability, to the factor market. So you can see here that all the activities here are interdependent and they are related to each other. Now we come to the money flow. You can see that the factor market, because the households are providing the input to the factor market, so in turn the factor market is providing the money income which is in the form of wages, rents, interest and profits to the households. This encourages the households to go for, that is, this actually gives them the purchasing power and they can purchase goods and services from the market and they go for consumption expenditure in the product market, that is, they invest this money in the product market to purchase goods and services. Now when the product market gets the money which is provided by the households, they provide it to the firms, that is business, and that is revenue for the business. And again business invest this money to purchase the inputs from the factor market. So again there is a circular flow. Now why do we say that the real flow and the money flow goes opposite to each other? You can see here in this particular case where the households are providing to the factor market is providing money income to the households. So the arrows here are in the opposite direction. That is, give and take relationship is going on. So there is a opposite flow of real and money income here. I suppose now you have understood that what happens under a circular flow in a simple economy model. Now let's understand some basic viewpoints here. See, note that product and money flows, as you have gone through, are making a circular flow in the economy, and that products and money flow are in the opposite direction. Now these flow represent the working of the simple economy because there are just two people involved, that is the business and households. Now an important feature of this particular flow, that is product and money flow, is that value of real flows equals the money flows. Real flows, that is, if the households are providing land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, So whatever is the value of this flow, it is equal to the wages, rents, interest and profit provided to the factors of production. Now this equality basically results from the fact that factor payments are equal to household incomes, and since household spend their total income on consumer goods and services, so household expenditure equal to the total receipts of the firm, which equals to the value of the output. Now this might be a bit confusing, so let me show it to you. I'll just revise upon and show you that what is happening in the simple circular flow under this particular economy model. See, what I'm saying is the factor payments which are done is equal to the household income. Factor payments means payment for land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. I pay them in the form of wages, rent, interest and profit. So whatever I am getting is my household income. Fine. Then whatever is the household income, it is equal to the household expenditure, means whatever I am getting, I am spending it all. Fine. Now whatever I am spending, it is equal to the money value of output. So this is the whole thing. Concluding upon, I can say that household income is equal to factor payments is equal to the money value of output. That is, whatever I am getting, I am spending that market in the product, that money in the product market in order to go acquire the goods and services, and that money goes to the business firm, which they spend in the factor market in order to get the factors of production. So everything is equal to each other. That is, there is no gap basically. Whatever I am getting, I am spending. As simple as that. Now you must be wondering that it doesn't happen in the real world. Like if I am getting an income, it happens so that either I spend more than what I earn, or either I spend less than what I earn and save for future contingencies. So this gives rise to, this is what is the assumption in the simple model of economy, that there is no savings done or there is no borrowings done, and the savings and borrowings actually complicate the model of circular flow. If there would have been savings and borrowings done, that can complicate the model of circular flow. Now, if suppose there would have been savings, not exactly savings, we call it withdrawals or leakage, or if there would have been borrowings, we call it not exactly borrowings even. This is just to make you understand the concept more clear. Not exactly borrowings, that is spending from my past withdrawals and past leakage. If there would have been borrowings, we call it as injection then what would happen? So let's first understand the concept of withdrawals or leakage and injection. I suppose now you understand the simple flow model, and you have to assume in this particular model that there is no withdrawals and no injection. That is, whatever a business firm is getting, whatever revenue a business firm is getting, whatever income a household is getting, it is spending all. So this is the assumption. But in real economy, it does not happen. So let's understand the concept of withdrawals and injection. See, effects of withdrawals and injection. First, understand that what is withdrawals. See, withdrawals is basically, or we can say leakages, a more prominent term is leakages, is an amount set aside by the household, or it can be even firms also, not to be spent on the goods and services over a period of time. Now, suppose if people start planning for their future, if people start saving money for their future, or suppose if business firms start saving their revenue, some part of their revenue for future contingencies, for suppose if depression period comes in future, so they start saving some part of their revenue for future, that is known as withdrawals. Now you should bifurcate, that is differentiate between what is a withdrawal and what is a saving. See, if savings are done, suppose I open a FD, I save my money, I open a FD in a bank account. So the bank knows that only after a certain period I'll be withdrawing my money. Now what the bank will do, the bank will give that money in the form of loan to various business concerns, to various other people who want that money. And those business concern will again invest that money into the capital and acquiring the capital and other goods and services. So savings is not withdrawal, because saving is basically investing again, which adds on to the circular flow, which makes the circular flow complete. Then withdrawals reduce the volume of circular flows. If we suppose start not exactly saving, if we start saving for future, you can say we are not saving it with the banks, we are just saving for the future contingencies, and we are not spending that income to acquire the goods and services and to go for production process and all. So it will actually limit the production and distribution of goods and services in the economy. It will reduce the volume of circular flows in the economy. Now this is withdrawals. As contrary to withdrawals, leakage injections basically are the amount that is spent by the household and or firms in addition to their current incomes generated within the regular economy. Now suppose I am spending more than what I am getting. So that is basically I am spending from my past savings done. Likewise, the households can also spend from their past savings done, and firms can also spend from the past withdrawals which they have done. So that is injection. Now if injections are done, then it increases the size of circular flow, because it increases the purchase of goods and services, it increases the production done in an economy, so it increases the size of circular flow. So this is withdrawal and injection, and I have discussed these terms because now in the other models of economy you will come through these terms again and again. So I suppose that you understand the concept of circular flow in a simple economy model. Now because now you know that what is a simple economic model, let's understand that what happens in a three-sector economy model. Now up till now we were considering just two sectors, that is firm and a business. Now after understanding the circular flow in a simple economy model, which will actually help you out in understanding more complex form of circular flows, now let's come to circular flows of product and money in a three-sector economy. Now the simple economy model was a two-sector economy model, and these two sectors were firms and households. In three sector economy model, now the government also starts playing its role. Up till now, in the two sector economy model, we were considering that the firm and the household were transacting and dealing directly with each other. But now the government intervenes in the economy, and this actually affects the circular flow in the economy. Let's understand this model. Three sector model is created by adding the government sector to the two sector model, that is the simple economy model. Here we will consider only three kinds of monetary flows between the government and the rest of the economy. There are many types of monetary flows, but we assume that there are only three types of monetary flow in order to simplify it further. So we consider that direct taxes on both households and firms are being implemented by the government. Then government goes for certain expenditure, and then there are transfer payments and subsidies. So these three are the monetary flows going on in the economy. Now because now we include the government into the model, it actually focuses on the government's economic role and which will be affecting the fiscal operations and the circular flow in the economy. Now these fiscal operations of the government have different kinds of effects on the circular flow of goods and money flows. Now let's see that how does a circular flow under three sector model looks like. So this is the circular flow under three sector model. You can see here the modification which we have done is we have placed the factor market in between. And if you see at this part, the half part of this model, we see here that this particular model shows resemblance to the simple model, that is the two sector model. This part shows the resemblance to the two sector model. And this is the addition which we have done because now we are including the government sector into the model. So let's see that how transactions are taking place between the government sector and the household and the government sector and the firms. Let's see that. See, the government sector spends a part of its tax revenue as form of factor payments to the households, that is on the purchase of factor services like labor and private property, and a part in the form of transfer payments such as pension, food, subsidy, etc. So it is providing factor payments to the households. Then these flows make the money flow between the household and the government. That is the factor payments done and the taxes collected from the household makes the money flow between government sector and the households. Now what about the real flow? The flow of goods and services from government sector to the firms makes the real flow. So the money flow is in the form of payment for purchases, subsidies and taxes, and the real flow is in the form of goods and services which the government sector is providing to the firms. Now you must be wondering that the government is not taking any payment for the goods and services which it is providing to the firms. Actually the payment is in the form of the taxes and the subsidies. So this is the payment that, like for example, the government is working on the improvement of infrastructure, roads, communication and etc., which the firms are also using. So the firms are not directly paying for these goods and services to the government. It is paying in the form of taxes etc. to the government. So this was the money and real flow between the government sector and the firms. Now it may be noted at the end here that taxes here, that is the taxes which the household and the firms are paying to the government sector, are the withdrawals. These are the withdrawals from the circular flow, and the government expenditure is an injection. That is the goods and services which the government is providing to the firms. the social services which the government is providing to the household is a injection into the circular flow. So this is the three sector model where we have seen that the government sector also plays a very important role. Now, after studying the three sector model, we'll move forward to a more complex form of circular flow model, that is the four sector model. Now, what modification we have done in this model is that we have included the role of foreign sector along with government, business and household. We have included a role of foreign sector in this model. So foreign sector model is formed by adding foreign sector to the three sector model. Foreign sector consists of two kinds of international economic transactions, and we'll see the effect of these two transactions on the circular flow model, that is the export import of goods and services and inflow and outflow of capital. We will see the impact of these two transactions on the circular flow model. It becomes a bit complex. Oh my god, so this looks really very complicated, but it's very easy to understand. This is not a, you won't say after understanding this that this is not my cup of tea. This is very easy to understand. So now let's see that what does this model shows and what are the modifications done to the three sector model to make this four sector model. Now see, this whole model is also considering the two types of flow, that is flow for goods and services and flow for money, that is real flow and monetary flow, money flow. Looking very clearly towards this model, we can see here that the government is intervening in the foreign transactions which are taking place in the market. The internal transactions which is happening between the government sector, the household sector, the business market are all the same. There is just one modification done, that is we have included the foreign sector, and due to which some changes have been done. Now here also we are seeing that the transactions does not result in equal flow, that is the flow here not ought to be equal due to the withdrawals and injections done. Let's start understanding this model. You have to remember two things, two assumptions which is done. The household sector, whatever they are exporting, they are just exporting labor to the foreign nations, to the foreign market. And what they are importing is non-labor and other goods and services. Fine. While government sector and the business market, they are exporting and importing all the things, that is goods and services, labor, everything. But the household sector is only exporting labor to the foreign market. So let's start understanding the four sector circular flow. We can see here that the foreign market has been placed at the bottom, and as I have told you earlier that the household sector will only export labor. So we can see here that it is exporting only factor services, which is in the form of labor, to the foreign market, and the foreign market is providing payment for the factor services to the household. Similarly, the foreign market is providing imports of goods and services to the household, and the household is paying for the imports. So you can see that there is two types of flow involved, that is money flow and the real flow. Similarly, when we come to the foreign market, the transactions between the foreign market and the business market, we can see here that the foreign market is providing imports of goods and services to the business market, and for that business market is paying to the foreign market. Then business market is exporting goods and services to the foreign market. Now here the difference is that household exports only labor, but business market will be exporting all the types of goods and services to the foreign market, and for that foreign market is paying to the business market. Similarly, the transactions happens between the foreign market and the government sector. You can see here that the government is providing exports of goods and services to the foreign market, and for that the foreign market is paying for the exports. Similarly, the government sector is paying for the imports which is done from the foreign market. And the internal this flow is as same it was under the three sector model. So now I suppose that you know that this model is not at all complex. It's very easy. We only modify this model, the three sector model, by including the role of foreign market, because in real economies the foreign trade is bound to happen, has to happen. Then these inflow and outflow, that is inflow of goods and services, outflow of goods and services, inflow of monetary receipts, then outflow of monetary payment done. This will go on happening continuously so long as there is foreign trade and export of manpower. So this will happen up if there is a foreign trade in a particular economy. Now, see the magnitude of this whole circular flow, this particular circular flow under four sector model, it totally depends upon the trade balance. And what is trade balance? Trade balance equals to the relationship between the export and exports, that is we represent it by X, and imports, and we represent it by M. That is, we say that how much export is bigger than the imports of the country. So this value can be in negative, this value can be in positive, or it can be zero. Suppose export is greater than imports. So this means that there is surplus, that is more of foreign income, there is inflow of more of foreign income than its outflow. So which actually results into net gain. But if exports are less than imports, this means that outflow is more than the foreign income, or we can say that expenditure is more than the income. So it basically decreases the magnitude of circular flow, and therefore we can say that there is net loss. And if imports are equal to exports, then we say that the volume of the circular flow is unaffected. So if exports are greater than imports, then it will increase the magnitude of the circular flow. If exports are less than imports, then it will decrease the magnitude of the circular flow. And if exports are equal to imports, then the circular flow overall remains unaffected. So this is how the foreign trade affects the circular flow of an economy. So now in this session you have studied that what is circular flow model of the economy. It is a concept of macroeconomics. And I suppose that you have understood that what are the various types of circular flows, starting from the simple one. In the next session, we'll be studying that how national income is calculated and how it is measured. Till then, have a nice time and thank you for watching Edupedia World.